Quillan Salkilld was packing 15 inches / Quillan Salkilld versus Mateusz Gamrot's full card breakdown. And honestly, this was a pretty decent card. Even though a lot of the names on the card was not that good, they provided entertaining fights. Even the women's fights, which are notoriously boring as fuck. But hey, Quillan Salkilld has showed why he has 15 inches and why he's packing. So in this video, we're going to be talking about this card breakdown basically. Well, I give you my casual takes and give you my 0.2 IQ brain cell takes. So yeah, let's go. I'm not even going to redo the intro because I do not give a fuck. Gigi Canuto versus Carol Fro was a really good fight. And this is a little mini breakdown we're going to have. In the first round, Fro was literally piecing up Gigi Canuto really badly. Like, her uppercuts were money. Especially her elbows. Her elbows, in my opinion, is what really sealed the fight for her. But the one thing you gotta admit is that Gigi Canuto's striking was not good, especially compared to Carol Fro. And the fact that she was desperately going for those takedowns just showed how much she didn't want to stand up on the feet against Carol Fro, you know. Carol Fro was fucking banging her ass up, dude. But in the second round, this is the thing I fucking hate too about some of these fighters. In the second round, Gigi literally had Carol on mount and didn't do anything with it, dude. Like, not even elbows, not even anything. It seemed like she used her full energy just to go for takedowns on Carol Fro. But even when she got on top of her, it seemed like she used all of her energy just for the takedowns and wouldn't even do any ground and pound or go for any submissions up until the third round, where she nearly got Carol Fro in an armbar. But personally, I don't know, it looked like a kind of weak ass armbar, and like for women fighters, I swear they never get armbar. So the moment like DC and the whole commentary team was like, "Oh my god, she almost got the armbar," I knew that shit wasn't gonna stick and land. So yeah, good win for Carol Fro. Her striking looked really good, especially her uppercuts. The only issue is her takedown defense does look a bit suspect. Like, she got reversed in many positions, and what I think she shouldn't have gotten reversed, especially in the later rounds, especially when Gigi was clearly tired and exhausted. Juliana Miller gets the submission win over Rina Oliveira round 2. And honestly, if she would have lost with that ski mask walkout, that would have been one of the most embarrassing ways to lose. This is my first time me watching her fight, and if this is like the norm, then I'm kind of an idiot and I'm kind of a casual. But I was just like, damn, it would have been so embarrassing if you're trying to overfarm and then you get your ass clapped by Rina Oliveira. But this is her 4th loss in a row, I believe, for Rina Oliveira, so she's probably going to get cut for the UFC. And Juliana Miller looked really good. She was really patient with her jab, and the way that she would level change off that jab was really good. The only issue I'd have with her against that fight, and the commentary team also said it too, when she was up against the cage, some of her hand placements, especially trying to like control Rina Oliveira, wasn't the best. But overall, I feel like she knew what she was doing, and she got the dub, you know. Pretty good win for Juliana Miller. Miles Johns versus John Vasquez. I probably fucked up that name, but I don't give a shit. Before I do this fight breakdown, DC needs to get fired, bro. Some of his opinions and takes are actually atrocious. Before this fight, he was saying that Vasquez sparring was so good, like behind the scenes sparring was so good, that he was comparing it to like Khabib and Islam. And I'm like, bro, you cannot be doing that, dude. He's not even the favorite. And he took the fight in 2 days' notice. And even though it was a good fight, Miles Johns slept him, bro. Like, another thing about DC too, he kept saying that Miles Johns was telegraphing his right hand, and he needs to set it up more. But that same right hand that he uses drops Vasquez and then knocks him out. But then that's the thing. Before he knocks out Vasquez gets Miles Johns hurt with his right hand also. He goes for a dumb flying knee, which I'm like, well, bro, you're not Charles Oliveira. I don't know who the fuck you think you are. But then after that, he gets slept by Miles Johns, bro. And I'm like, bro, you cannot be compared to Islam fucking Makhachev if you're losing to Miles Johns. Like, DC, you just like gave this guy one of the biggest oral losses possible. And he's one of the worst commentators too, bro. His commentary sucks butt cheeks. Anyways, that was the fight breakdown for Vasquez versus Miles Johns. So far, we're having a pretty decent card. And then the Manuel Sosa versus Richie Miranda card fight. Kind of boring, not gonna lie. Dude, I almost fell asleep multiple times watching that fight. But it was really weird because Miranda striking was not good at all compared to Sosa. But every time, especially in the first round and a little bit in the second round, he would keep trying to out-grapple him. But visibly after the second round, he was so tired and drained, and every time he had position to advance or do something, he just couldn't because he was so tired. But Manuel Sosa, you are not Jalen Turner, bro. I don't know who you think you are, but in the second round, he literally dropped Richie Miranda, and instead of trying to finish him off, he literally tried to walk off like he's some cool guy. And then after that, Richie Miranda grabbed onto his heel and tried to drag him back into the fight. But I don't get why UFC fighters do that, bro. Like, you're not that cool. Don't try to aura farm. Get the win first, and then you can aura farm, bro. Like, if Richie Miranda was any high-level caliber of a fighter, he would have won that fight. But Richie Miranda's striking is really poor and sloppy, especially compared to Manuel Sosa. And a lot of people are going to glaze Sosa in this fight. But besides him being a decently explosive fighter, he is one of the most wild and inaccurate punchers in the UFC. And I don't think he's going to get any far. But hey, congratulations to Manuel Sosa for getting his win against Richie Miranda. But overall, I don't even think he's that good. And I don't think Richie Miranda was also a good opponent, personally. And for the next fight, Louis Sutherland versus Jose Montana. And before I get into this fight breakdown, just how shit is the heavyweight division? Think about it, right? Tai Tuivasa, who still hasn't been cut from the UFC, was one win away from fighting John Jones for the title, right? Think about it. Just let me cook some chili cheese fries real quick, right? Louis Sutherland got fucking submitted by Jose Montana in the first fucking round. And it wasn't even impressive, bro. Like, Louis Sutherland fell like a brick wall, bro. Like, literally, like, he slipped on a fucking banana peel. Well, he didn't slip on a banana peel, but Jose Montana easily took down that blob. I don't want to make fun of him because he's big, but you are our fucking blob for the UFC, bro. That physique, you cannot have that physique, bro. No offense. But he got submitted so quickly by Jose Montana. And think about it. Tai Tuivasa struggled with Louis Sutherland, bro. Oh my god. How are these two, like... How was Tai Tuivasa at one point a title contender in the heavyweight division? This just proves how trash it was, bro. Oh my god. This fight was so embarrassing. And, like... Every time you see, like, someone heavyweight go down on the ground, you automatically assume he's not going to be able to get up, and he has fucking, his ass is like glued to the canvas, bro. That was one of the most saddest fights I've ever seen in my life, bro. Oh my god. But yeah, this is how bad the heavyweight division is. But it's also a good thing because we have some rising heavyweight contenders like Jose Montana, Gable 2019, Lupo Stevenson, Josh Hockett. You know, we have all of these rising contenders in the heavyweight division now. And low key, I want to make a video I want to make a future video saying that how the heavyweight division is going to be not the worst division in the men's UFC category. It's going to be the light heavyweight division. Just hear me out. Let me cook. I think some of these contenders are really going to show that at least the standard of the heavyweight division is going to go up just a tiny bit. But fights like these, where Louis Sutherland blobs around and gets his ass clapped by Jose Montana, it's so embarrassing, bro. Like, whatever. Anyways, that was my fight breakdown from Jose Montana and Louis Sutherland. Nurjai versus Lopez, and I'm watching this fight right now. I'm currently this is a live commentary of me watching this fight and commentating. I'm doing this just because of how boring the fucking fight is. Oh my god, look, Nurjai just got eye poked. Wow, perfect. Oh my god. But basically, this fight is so boring that DC is talking about fucking horseshoes. Oh my fucking god. Like, DC's commentary, I get it sometimes. Sometimes, like, for this fight example, the first round, nothing's fucking happening. So the commentary do have to talk about some dumb shit to make it interesting. They're talking about fucking horseshoes. They can't talk about any upcoming fights. They can't talk about the next fight that might be interesting. They're talking about fucking horseshoes. Well, ignore what I just said. Nerdajai finishes the round in the first round. Am I the only one? Call me a piece of shit. I am still doing live commentary while watching this fight. I need to see this fucking replay. Isn't this an early fucking stoppage, bro? Like, there's 1 second left of the clock. I know he got. Wait, I'm watching the replay. Ooh, overhand left hook. The other guy falls down and he literally wobbles around the whole campus, bro. Nerdajai ground and pounds him. He throws a spinning fucking elbow, and the other guy's like penguin walking across the field. Okay, never mind. Nah, not an early stoppage. The guy's leg went fucking limp, and he went down, and then he collapsed after. Never mind. That guy couldn't even stand up. Nerdajai gets a clean uppercut with the right hook and drops Lopez, and that's all they wrote. Nerdajai pretty good, you know. Even though the first, oh my god, I took the gun. I'm not gonna even edit that shit out. In the first 3 minutes, they were literally just exchanging low kicks, like light ass low kicks, and it was the most boringest shit I've ever fucking watched. So thank God he got the KO at the end. But yeah, good win to Nerdajai, round 1. Steven Asplan versus Guillermo Pat, and honestly, this was a really close fight that was going back and forth, and there's a lot of things I have to say. In the first round, Steven Asplan did his best to blob Max and kind of bring Pat to the clinch, and he would obviously start off explosively and get him with the jab. The one thing that became apparent in this fight is that even though Asplan had the power advantage against him, Pat was having the lighter man skill, and he was able to pick him off, especially at range, because of how lanky he was. But in my opinion, even though Guillermo Pat is 250 for heavyweight, he looks so leaned out for this division. Like, he looks so much smaller to Steven Asplan. And maybe that's also because of Steven Asplan's a bit of a blob, you know, so. But in the second round, in the first round, Steven Asplan has Pat on the ground, and he's like just like weighing himself on him and draining his energy. So it was really surprising when Guillermo Pat had a second gust of win in the second round. And from that second round, he drops Steven Asplan. And you think, damn, after he got dropped and he's on the ground, you would expect Pat to win. But honestly, he got too tired, and I think that drained all of his energy trying to get the finish in the second round. Because in the third round, Steven Asplan drops Guillermo Pat with a kick and a hook, basically. So it was like, you wonder where Guillermo Pat's energy went after the second round. You know, it was kind of crazy to me. Okay, this is my personal opinion too. I fucking hate the fact that whenever Steven Asplan goes for a guillotine, he does some stupid tongue shit like he's trying to aura farm. But he literally did that shit this fight and didn't even get up, like, he didn't even squeeze enough or didn't even get a tight guillotine. So I was like, bro, what are you doing, bro? Why are you trying to like zest max or some shit like that? But overall, Steven Asplan wins by decision, and we're gonna go to the main card now. Billy Ray Goff versus Ty Miller. And honestly, if I was Billy Ray Goff, I don't know how the fuck to say that. Why does everyone have some really weird ass name? If I was that dude, I would fire my corner team immediately for these reasons. In the first round, it was obviously a closer round because Billy was like moving around, circling Ty Miller, being all scrappy. But the moment he lost his energy, especially in the second round, Ty Miller was literally piecing him up badly. I'm pretty sure the significant strikes at the end of the second round was like 60-9. And the crazy thing is, after the second round happened, he was getting destroyed. Like, he was getting beaten up badly. Like, Ty Miller was doing really good, going for the body, mixing it up and going to the head, jabbing. He was getting destroyed so badly that you can see that his like orbital bone was broken in that fight. You can see how badly his eye was damaged. But his cornerman should have thrown the towel after the second round, because when they were like trying to fix him up after like the 60-second break, one of his coaches had literally told him, hey, don't engage, just circle around him. And how the fuck are you gonna be able to do that and win a fight, especially if you're losing two? He was definitely down 2 rounds. So the fact that they saw Billy and how damaged she was, and they still sent him out instead of throwing the towel, that just shows how much of like they don't give a fuck about that guy and his health, bro. Like, obviously, I don't think you're that much of a good fighter, but if you're getting beaten that badly that you can barely stand and you barely survive the second round, and the only advice the coach gives you is to circle around and don't engage, then what's the point of fighting and risking more brain damage? That's really annoying to me. But hey, good win for Ty Miller. I believe he's going to be a good contender, but I think he does have to work a little bit on his takedown defense. Amanda Lemos versus Alexia Thainara. And honestly, the most interesting thing that probably happened was that Alexia Thainara kicked Amanda Lemos in her pussy. Actually, nah, never mind. That fight was a decent fight. Like, for the first round, you're kind of like, okay, please something happened. Because the whole time, especially in the first 3 minutes, they were just trading leg kicks, and it was like the most boringest shit ever. And if they weren't trading leg kicks, they were just clutching up against the fence. The one advantage that Alexia Thainara had is her size, and obviously that she's a younger fighter because she kept moving around and was more active than Amanda Lemos. But then the second round, when you think, okay, Alexia Thainara is just more active, is just moving around more, Amanda Lemos knocks Thainara down, and that's when you're like, oh my god, what the fuck? I wonder what's gonna happen now. But then the same thing kind of happened for a bit, in which they were just clutching up against the fence. But then suddenly you just have like a little switch moment where they're like Max Holloway and just engaged in the last 10 seconds of the fight, trading blow. It was really weird. They were like 1 second trading blow for blow job, and then the next second they were just like kicking their legs at range, being fucking robbed and just holding them against the cage. Like, it was so boring at times, but at the same exact time there were some entertaining moments, you know. But it was a good win for Alexia Thainara. She advances to 8th ranked in the women's strawweight, and I wonder who she's gonna fight next, you know. For Amanda Lemos, though, yeah, you're kind of cooked, bro. You're definitely not getting a chance at being a title contender ever again, and you're kind of washed. No offense. The next fight is Darren Elkins and Yadir Delval. And honestly, this shit was just sad and depressing because you can tell from the first kick that Yadir Delval gave to Darren Elkins is that guy is so old and his chin's so shit that, like, if you, like, tickle his ass, he's gonna fucking fall and shit like that. But that guy's been into too much firefights, and he's too old where literally the first right hook, he just goes down and loses. And well, not much for fucking to say. The next fight is Darren Elkins and Yadir Delval. And honestly, this shit was just sad and depressing because you can tell from the first kick that Yadir Delval gave to Darren Elkins is that guy is so old and his chin's so shit that, like, if you, like, tickle his ass, he's gonna fucking fall and shit like that. But that guy's been into too much firefights, and he's too old where literally the first right hook, he just goes down and loses. And well, not much for fucking to say. Diego Ferreira and Billy Cortillo was one of the weirdest fights of this fight card, and I'll say for these reasons. One, in the first round, Diego Ferreira was piecing up Billy Cortillo, and for some reason the coaches kept telling him to go for the body even though whatever he was doing was fucking working. I thought that was really weird. Point one. Two, I don't think Billy Cortillo knows how to fucking defend the jab. Like, instead of actually trying to block the jab or put his hands up, he only had his right hand up and he just leaned to the right slightly. And Diego Ferreira would always catch a jab or anything. He would go for a leg kick and then go for a jab up front. And Billy Cortillo didn't even have his fucking hands up. It was the weirdest thing ever. Even, like, Daniel Cormier even picked it up on commentary. He's like, why is he not putting his left hand up? And another thing that was weird, too, was Diego Ferreira was winning every grappling exchange with Billy Cortillo, and for some reason in the third round where Billy was gaining momentum toward Diego Ferreira, he wanted to engage in the grappling, which made no fucking sense to me. Even like during the fight, you can hear his coaches screaming at him and like, bro, why the fuck are you trying to grapple with Diego Ferreira, bro? Like, you're losing all the exchanges so far. Why do you think going on another one while he's down is gonna fucking help him, you know? And he was down the first 2 rounds. That shit made no sense to me, you know? Some of these fighters at this fight card literally had 2 brain cells, and both of them were located up their fucking ass, and it was really strange to me. But yeah, Diego Ferreira wins. I think he's a decent fighter, especially for his weight class, but I think Billy Cortillo made the fight easier than it had to be. And it was really weird because in the 3rd round, all of a sudden, he actually started using his left hand and had his hands up. But it was, like, done too late. Like, I feel like this was a winnable fight for Billy Cortillo, you know? I'm getting mad. I didn't even fucking put money or bet on this card. But it's just that seeing him pick every wrong decision in this fight was just so frustrating to me, you know? Like, he could have won this fight. Like, I'm not trying to take credit from Diego Ferreira, but he's a good fighter, but Billy Cortillo could have won that fight if he was just more strategic and actually had his hands up and had the same urgency he had in the 3rd round than the first 2 rounds. Like, it was, you would think the dude was tired after the first 2 rounds because of how much limited punches he was throwing, but all of a sudden in the 3rd round he was going balls to the wall. I mean, he kind of had to because he was down the first 2 rounds, but it's like, why didn't you do this earlier, you know? But hey, easy win for Diego Ferreira, and then we're gonna go to the main card. Quillan Salkilld versus Mateusz Gamrot, and honestly, I am so fucking surprised that Quillan Salkilld beat Mateusz Gamrot, especially because honestly, even though Salkilld has a base in jiu-jitsu, I thought Mateusz Gamrot's experience and everything else was gonna overpower him. Like, honestly, I would never expect Salkilld to beat Gamrot from a submission. I honestly thought it would be like a knockout, you know, especially how he knocked out Benio de Riush. But the fact that he did it in the first round was crazy, dude. Like, he stunned Gamrot early on, and I was like expecting Gamrot to shoot, which he did. He literally instantly shot down on Salkilld. And I was like, shit, is he actually going to submit him, get him? I was like fucking freaking out. And then there was that one moment where Gamrot has Salkilld in a leg locked position, and even Salkilld looked uncomfortable. He was like looking at his team, nodding, and I was like, for a second, I thought this guy was fucking Walter Walker maxing. I can't even fucking speak English. I'm so like shocked right now. But like the fact that he even got him down like that, I was like, damn, bro, he has really good jiu-jitsu, and now I believe he has almost everything he needs to win the title. You know, he has the striking, he has the jiu-jitsu. The only thing that hasn't been fully tested is him going the full 5 rounds. So you don't know if he has that stamina to last or not. But at the same exact time, there's no opponent that's making him go far in the distance. He's usually knocking out or submitting people in the first round. So this guy is a really good title contender. Overall, I think this was a good card. I wasn't completely bored, and I only fell asleep on I only like got bored of one or two fights. So I would give it a decent 7.5 out of 10. It was a good card. There was only like 2 or 3 boring decisions. So yeah, I hope you guys leave a like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think about this card.